All right, here we go.
Oh, shit.
Cracking a beer. Yeah. All right, what do we have here? Let's talk beer first.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Josi.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Ladies and gentlemen, no ladies listen to this.
Okay.
Probably not any gentlemen either.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so when I asked you what kind of beer you like, you said ambers, something, sours, which I don't even know what that is.
So sours are during the brewing process. There's like a point when I don't know exactly what's happening, but like sours are like the 2/3 of the way step through, and then it's just like a fruity flavor, and it tastes like some of them kind of taste like sour candies and stuff.
Where can I find one?
There's like a whole. You got to go to like the big like brew stores where it's just like tons and tons of beer. They're really good.
Okay, I might go looking for one.
They mess you up too.
I recently went to this bar called Prost in North Portland, and it was a German beer. Oh, I've been craving German beer a lot lately. So I went there and I got a Weiss beer, which it's like drinking banana bread. But I hate banana bread, so I don't know why it's so appealing to me. But he actually suggested to find German beer is Hawthorne something on Hawthorne. I don't know. Maybe he was talking about the Fred Meyers on Hawthorne. Maybe it's their selection.
Oh, yeah. I mean the Hawthorne Fred Meyer has like so much just
stuff that no other Fred Meyers has.
And it's hilarious like what they stock.
Yeah, that was the first one I saw that had sushi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's also the Fred Meyer up on like Sunnyside, the brand new one that they built like a year ago now. They have like Portland like bakery, like high end gourmet, like imported in like cakes and stuff, and it was just super bizarre to like find that.
That's weird, but that's pretty cool that they're custom to the area. So and then one of the styles you said you like was Pilsner, which I'm a fan of. So I've had my eye on this one for a little bit. It's Bouy brand, Czech style Pilsner. Pretty dope. It's out of Astoria, Oregon is where they brew it. So, which means next time I am in Astoria, I'm gonna hit up the brewery.
Well, you just conveniently like double hit your guest because like I'm from the Oregon coast, so like boom boom.
What, half hour south of there?
About an hour, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to read the back here. And I do hate reading off of wet aluminum because it's always shiny and I can never read and I have bad eyes. So, reach for a Bouy Czech style Pilsner. Bright traditional taste. Let me think. Okay.
Yep.
I'm with it so far. A classic Pilsner with roots in the great beer heritage of the Czech Republic. Our Czech-style Pilsner features Saz hops, supporting layers of rounded malt flavors. As right today as it was a few hundred years ago, I'm guessing the original recipe did not taste like this.
No, there's no way.
No. A few hundred years ago, from a place that's weathered a few trends in its time, here history never gets old.
Though, I mean,
and this is a fairly light. It is. Oh no, I'm reading that wrong. It's pretty decent. It is 6.2.
Yeah.
ABV.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the recipe wasn't an adjustment from a recipe from like a couple hundred years ago, because
it was probably this without all the carbonation.
Yeah, that probably.
Yeah,
because like I think it was Fat Tire had a Egyptian-based beer flavoring thing.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really smooth and stuff. I think they cut down on like the carbonation to kind of give it that feel too. But
I once had, and I can't remember where, an unpasteurized beer in the U.S. Local here in Portland. I think it might have been at Gustav's. I'm not sure, but it was one of the best beers I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I mean, everybody tries to recreate that like smoother like flavor by doing like nitro and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point there was a little bit more of a push for that, especially in Portland, when Portland's like, oh, let's do all kinds of brewing.
Yeah. Although, do they do all kinds of brewing, or is it 95% IPAs?
Well, okay, fair.
Which, I mean, that trend's starting to break, because I think people understand that the market is just flooded with IPAs. So what are you going to do? Put out another one? You're going to get lost.
Yeah, you're going to be the same guy as, Joe down the street. Yeah, that's why I like that. I wish I could remember the name of the sour place. It's like off Belmont area. And that's all they have is just sours.
Really?
And it's
just one place?
Mm-hmm. And it's all on tap. And they're all
bar, okay.
Yeah. And like, basically you pick your favorite your favorite fruit, and they have a sour for it. And it's really yummy. Or if you're not like really big on the fruits, like they have some other like sour kind of jams. And man.
All right. Well, as soon as you figure out where I'm probably going to go.
Yeah, you should.
You have to.
It's real good.
Yeah, and I've said this, I think, every episode, but I created this podcast because I want to try more different kinds of beers. And this is the area of the world where I can go a year without trying 2 different types of beers.
Yeah.
And store-bought. I don't even have to go to a brewery. Store-bought.
Yeah, you can find anything. This Bouy is really good. I like, I think the fancy way to say it, it's got a really bright flavor.
It says that right on the back. It's bright. Well,
yeah,
it's right.
It's.
I agree.
I would call it more crispy because that's how I view it. But like,
yeah,
it's real good. I think I could happily. I would want to drink this on a hot summer day down by the river. That's what I would want to do. Like, get a case of this.
Summer beers are my favorite.
Oh yeah. Probably because there's good, happy memories. Winter beers are like, I'm depressed and inside.
Yeah. I like the big, bright beers.
They just got a good, like, happy feel behind them.
Well, even in the middle of winter, I'm inside with the heat cranked up, so it's still going to cool me down. And plus, down by the river, it does say Bouy on it, so...
Yeah. It's water-related.
Sure. Why not? I'll probably get this again. This is good. Something happened to me between the times that we booked this podcast and we're doing it that actually reminded me of you outside of the podcast.
Oh. Okay,
so a buddy of mine who's in the local film scene just released a movie, by the way. And The Fear of the Bottom, you can find it on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
Sent me a link to this casting call, which I don't like to be on that side of the camera at all, but it was specifically because it was asking for professional bowlers.
Oh.
And I read through it, and it wasn't something I wanted to go spend my time on, but it was for that mockumentary series with Fred Armisen and Bill Hader.
Oh yeah, Doc You Now.
Yeah. So Monday, I see there's a bunch of hubbub at my local bowling alley right on where I go all the time. That's my closest bar. Yeah. So I walk up there and there's just film trucks everywhere. I'm like, oh, I know what's going on here. And your buddy Fred Armisen.
Yeah, and that's funny because I know a couple people that are working on that, and
Are they shooting it mostly all here or just randomly? Here and there.
From what I've caught, it's mostly all here in like Portland metro area. Yeah. Because I know that a lot of the crew is Portland based, or the like California come up to Portland for like this part of the season of filming.
Sure. Probably a lot of people that worked on Portlandia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. I don't want to. You worked on that show, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yes,
I did.
Okay, so I know I don't want to shit talk it, but I didn't really like it. However,
yeah,
the very first skit of all time, the opening song.
Mm-hmm.
The like, where the '90s never left. Oh, it's one of my favorite things of all time because he nailed it. That's what Portland really is. It's like it's where young people go to retire. Parts of Portland, yes, is definitely that.
Yeah, I think. I don't think this is like a shitting on Portlandia moment, but like I think that is kind of like the repeated joke throughout the entire series for like 8 seasons or whatever. It's the let's keep hammering the same joke, and for some people that's their jam, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I think for people outside of Portland, it was really good.
Yes,
but from people, for me, it's like, yeah, you're describing like 10 square blocks of Portland.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it was bad. It just, since I live here and I know these people, it's like, yeah, they exist, but it's not, you're talking about 2% of Portland.
Yeah.
But most people don't live in Portland. They don't know. So I think they did good work. I think you specifically did very good work.
Oh,
I
thanks.
have no idea what you did.
I think the weirdest story to come out of all of that was, I remember, so, you're the first time that you start working in like the TV industry or anything like that, you're eventually going to meet someone that's a celebrity.
Sure.
And when
it'd be hard not to.
Exactly. And when you meet them, it's a really surreal moment because they introduce themselves and they're like, hi, my name's Fred Armisen. And you're like, well, yeah, I know. But you don't want to be an asshole. You don't want to be like, yes, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And so, like, my first day was, I met Fred and Carrie. And then, to go from that to, like, a month, a few months later at the end of it, actually helping Carrie move out of her house, which, man, like she was so, like, it was like she was putting us out so much by having us help her move, and it was just like two of us, and it wasn't that bad. Like, we just moved some furniture just like you.
But she was really appreciative.
Yeah, she was super appreciative, and she gave me this really nice bottle of tequila. And like,
nice.
I hammered that thing down and was just like, I was super appreciative of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea who she was before the show. And however, I was aware of the band. And especially if you drive to Seattle from here, you're going to see the Slater-Kinney sign. But I was, what was that Portland band? I put them in like the same bracket, the Dandy Warhols. Like, I put them in the same bracket. It's like, it's not my style of music. I'm aware of it. I'm glad it's being made. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's that like post grungy, but like
it was mid grunge, but it was just artsy soft.
Yeah, artsy soft. Yeah, it was chill. Like you're not like raging against your parents in your basement.
No, and I'm an aggressive music kind of guy.
Yeah,
that's why it didn't. I'm not one of those guys that, like, if I don't like something, it's bad. If I don't like it, it's like, well, here's why.
Yeah.
I like aggressive music.
Yeah, I tend to like higher energies. Oh, man, I recently discovered a new band, and I thought it was super fun.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
They're called Tupperware Remix Party.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. Like, you hear that name. Or they go by Twerp.
Okay.
They open for Ninja Sex Party.
Okay.
Which
parties?
Yeah, which is the Ninja Sex Party. The guy from that works on Game Grumps, which is that YouTube series where they play video games. Probably one of the bigger ones.
I'm aware of the name, but I don't really watch those guys.
Yeah. So Dan from the Game Grumps thing, he's in Ninja Sex Party.
Cool.
Their opening band was the Tupperware Remix Party. And I remember I'd gone to see Ninja Sex Party because my friend is like a huge Game Grumps fan, and he was like, "Hey, I have an extra ticket. My wife can't go. Do you want to go with me?" And I was like,
"Of course,
yeah, I want to go to a concert for free." Like, when do you turn that down?
Right.
So we get there, and I was like, "All right, Ninja Sex Party. I've heard some of their songs. They're pretty fun. Like, they're just kind of like a poppy, fun, exciting band." And then Twerp comes out, and like, the only way I've been able to describe them is it's if like early Daft Punk did like an homage to the 80s.
Okay.
And it's just that like Aha and all that style of music, but with like a Daft Punky, vocalist.
Sure.
And they just put on like a hell of a show.
Sometimes a band, you might not even like them on album, which obviously you going into it, you didn't know, but their show is so good. It's like, okay, now this music is good to me.
Yeah.
So I think that if you had heard them beforehand, doesn't matter. After you saw them, you like them.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one of their albums at home, and I listen to it from time to time, but it's not something that like I reach for.
Right.
But if I could reach for their live performance again, I would fucking do it. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, their live show is so good. But yeah, they're coming back to town, and I like posted about it. I was like, y'all gotta come with me. This is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. I think a band like that for me was Gravity Kills.
Oh yeah.
One of the best shows I've ever. I saw them twice. Some once for like the $2 Tuesdays or whatever, that 94.7 before your time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. It was in La Luna, which doesn't exist anymore.
No.
But oh man, 3-piece band, and they just rocked so hard. A lot of fun. Yeah, I love live shows. I don't go to many anymore.
I'm desperately trying to like up my live show game.
I'm trying to up my leaving the house game.
Yeah, that's that's yeah. I feel that. Well, right? I feel like that's the trouble of like being a Northwestern like human is you fall into winter and then you kind of stay inside a little bit more and you stay inside a little bit more and then summer hits you like, why am I inside all the time?
Well, I think for me, a lot of it is the older I get, the more my anxieties hit, you know? And whereas I don't mind people, I don't like new people, and I don't like crowds, and
sure,
I just need to get over it.
Yeah. Well, you gotta...
It's kind of like what John Mulaney said in his special New in Town. There's nothing better than canceling plans. It's like heroin to an adult. Is it wrong?
No,
it's when you call up someone and they're like, hey, are we still on for today? And they're like, oh, I gotta cancel. You're like, oh, that's the best.
Oh, it feels so good.
I get to just go home and turn on the Netflix.
Yeah, man, because inversely, like the one thing that always gets on my nerves is because like I'm on the verge between being more like introverted than extrovert. Like I'm on that 50% line. I like to be out with friends. I also don't mind being inside. I'll take one or the other. But the one thing that always gets on my nerves is when like hard, like outgoing, adventurous, extrovert style people make these loose plans, and like I'm forgetful. So they're like, yeah, we should hang out like Friday or Saturday. And you're like, all right, cool. And then like Sunday rolls around and like my brain's like a million miles away.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, so we didn't hang out this weekend. And I'm like,
we didn't make plans.
You made like such loose plans, man.
My best friend in high school was really bad about that kind of stuff. So as I got into the adult world, one of the things I did is I'm either going to make hard plans or not. I don't make loose plans anymore. That's like when we were setting this up. We were going back for, hey, what kind is it? And I was like, all right, I'm going to just toss out a day and a time. Is that good? It's a starting point.
Well, and that works so much better for me too. Like just saying like,
because we could have him and hawed forever.
Yeah.
A week.
Yes. And well, and it works so much better for me too is when someone's just like, hey, this amount of time doing this thing, are you free for that? And, you know, like that just works better for me long term than anything else.
Yeah. And I don't mind when people cancel plans as much as I used to. I used to really, again, best friend in high school did it all the time. Sure. It really kind of got me on edge to that kind of thing.
You numbed to it over time.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, I get it. It happens. However, if someone does it consistently, I just stop asking them to do stuff. And that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all right. But yeah, I tend to try to make hard plans these days. How did we get there?
We're two old men. It's just, you know, it happens.
I saw this band recently live. I haven't been to shows. Let's see. The last show is when our mutual friend Grayson had his spare ticket because his mother couldn't go, which dope of him taking his mother to Disturbed, but right?
Yeah,
that's cool. But which was, by the way, one of the best concerts I've ever seen, and I've been kind of looking for my opportunity to get him back and take him to a show, but there's nothing as good as that. But I went and saw recently at the White Eagle Saloon a band called The Native Howl. Yeah, you never heard him.
No. I was like racking my brain. I'm like, nope.
There were 20 people in the audience.
Oh,
maybe 30. And it was one of the best bands I've ever seen.
Nice.
They do like the name of the album is Thrash Grass. So it's like a metal meets bluegrass.
Huh.
It's really good. I'll play you some after the show. It's really good. And next time they come to town. So it was like $8 a ticket. I went with the wife, and Emily, who I do another podcast with. Let me shout out real quick. Northwest Mystery Show, NW Mystery Show. You can find it on Stitcher. You can find it on Podcast Addict. You can find it not anywhere, but you can find it at TownsyProductions.com where you find this podcast.
Yeah, actually, I personally have been meaning to check that out because I recently discovered that my fiance and I, like, she also really likes those, like, bizarre stories and stuff. I'll just turn that shit on and just, like, hit play. And, like, when time has passed between you and a partner and then, like, you find something new about them, we continue with your...
Yeah, you guys should check out that show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's...
I'll get back to that in a second. Fun story, but so
I'll keep sidetracking you. Watch out.
No, I'm fine with sidetracking. That's the whole point of this. Drink beer, talk shit. That should be the tagline for this podcast. Drink beer, talk shit. But anyway, next time they come into town, I have a personal friend, guy who used to be in the show with us. He's friends with him. They actually stayed with him at his house when they were in town. They're from Detroit. It was the first time in Portland. The next time they come back, I might buy 10 tickets and just give them to anyone who wants to go because it was undeniably good.
Nice. Not
to mention that the lead singer looks like a shorter, white Jason Momoa. It's weird. It was he had the eyebrows and the eyes and the beard and good looking dude. Fuck that guy. Anyway, the Northwest Mystery Show. You can find it on Instagram at NW Mystery Show and contact them at nwmysteryshow@gmail.com. So these gals, I've been talking with my friend Emily, our friend Emily. You know her. Mm-hmm. She's very short. But forever talking about starting a podcast. We were going to do one separate, and then she came up with the idea for this show. And she's like, I was like, all right. She's like, came into the day, I kind of want to do this with my friend. And, as you were talking about a friend you had talked to recently, I want to do this. I said, okay, this day, talk to your friend. And I was really kind of taken aback when a week later, she's like, okay, we're ready. Next weekend? I was like, yes, let's do it. We're done. Yeah. I was not expecting it. And they hopped on the mic. Now, my very first podcast I ever did, we did 5 practice shows before we ever released a show. That was We Are Not Fighters. You can find the archives at TownsyProductions.com. We no longer do it because the scheduling is stupid.
Sure.
God, that was a fun show. But we did 5 before we even released one because we were bad. We were really bad. They hopped in, first show, bam, 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 ready to go. I mean, part of that is because they're silly little girls and they giggle through most of the show. But most of it is because they don't necessarily talk into the mic. They're talking to each other and the mics are there. And the dynamic of the show is fucking great. So what they do is they both research one Northwest mystery.
Sure.
Don't tell the other one about it. And then they tell stories back and forth to each other.
Oh, see, that's cool stuff.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I sit back and make jokes and get them drinks.
That, I was telling a friend about this. There is something profound about just listening to someone just nerd out on something that they're passionate about. And I did
for sure.
I want there to be a term for this, so someone smarter than me come up with a term for it. But I remember experiencing that for the first time when I have this really good friend. He's actually dating my cousin now, which I thought was funny because that's the whole thing.
That's cool.
He started ranting, and it became this like 2 or 3 hour rant about software and programming. Mm-hmm. And I get like concepts of software and I get concepts of programming, but like I'm not a programmer. I'm not a software engineer. Right. Like those things, like if you told me to make a program, I couldn't do it. But listening to him rant,
it's like someone speaking Italian. I'll pick out a few words here and there.
Right? Yeah, you're like, oh, that's
what you're talking about, really.
But the fact that he was so passionate while he talked about it and just so interested that even though he was talking over my head, it was so interesting. And like I said, I want there to be a term for that kind of stuff. But like that's what I appreciate about podcasts. That's what I appreciate about like two people kind of telling each other stories. Is that the shut up and listen aspect? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh wow, that's really interesting. Oh cool, I want to know more. Like asking questions and engaging and stuff.
Right. And I think that's the mark of every good podcast. Is especially when someone's enthusiastic or really cares deeply about a topic, and then they can talk about it, and not just talk about it, but talk about it in a way where it's engaging to you, which that's important as well. That's the difference between a lecture and like a good podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up with that word? You can stew on it. You don't have to do it right here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You put me on the spot. I got real nervous.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, I listen to astrophysicists. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No.
But I love it when they dumb it down and I can kind of almost get what they're saying. Like, I will never understand even the math behind it.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's where Neil deGrasse Tyson gets his niche, right? He's not the smartest guy in the world, right?
He's hella smart, but
sure, 100%. He's way smarter than me. But what he does is he can understand it and then tell it to the layman.
Yeah, and he's got such like a soothing jazz voice that comes out too. Just like he lays that. He's
a great ambassador of science. And I think that's his calling. His calling was never to break the new code of the invention of he's bringing science to the masses in a way that they can digest it.
Same with, he's kind of like the new wave of what, like, not to say that Bill Nye is like gone by any means, because Bill Nye still teaches everybody. Bill Nye still does stuff, but like, I think
it's a little different where Bill Nye is kind of like Mr. Wizard. Bill Nye took fun science and let's do this thing and make it fun, where Neil deGrasse Tyson is specifically talking about astrophysics, which is 3 steps beyond, like anything. Where Bill Nye is talking about, all right, well, you would understand this if you got a degree in it, whereas astrophysics, I couldn't get a degree in it.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Bill Nye is more of a generalist.
Yeah, he's more like, look at the basic.
Do you know what pisses me off?
What?
Where everyone talks about, Bill Nye, he's not a scientist. He's not a scientist. Never claimed to be. He's the science guy.
Yeah.
He's just like Mr. Wizard, which was before your time. Mr. Wizard was my favorite show as a kid. He would do stuff like, he was just this old guy. He's like, here's what you can do with glue and a toothpick and some water, and then, make the just little things you can do, and just teaching science to kids. Bill Nye was the second coming to that.
Yeah. Well, and I always think it's funny when people try and like discredit, Bill Nye. It's like, well, he's not trying to like proclaim himself to be like this, this guy who knows the answer to everything. He's gathered the information himself and he's presenting it to you. And like, if you fundamentally disagree with that, like, yeah, you fucking disagree with it. Right. But like,
he never claimed to be a science. He's the science guy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you watch a show on rebuilding engines, because those shows are fun. They're the engine guys or whatever it is. They didn't design the goddamn engine. They're just replacing some parts and rebuilding or whatever.
Yeah. They understand it.
Sure, yeah. That's why it's on TV. If you had someone who was an actual scientist, he's not going to be on TV. He's going to be off doing science. Science.
Yeah. By the way, is there for your show? Is there a ceremonious way to open another beer, or do I just open
into the mic?
Okay. Because I'm going to do that. I want another one.
Oh, me too. Hold on.
Okay, I'll wait for you. This beer is...
It's really yummy.
It makes me feel... It's just a step above... Like, it's not a step above. It's like a full, like, 2 floors above, like, getting shitty when you were in, like, college or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, the early 20 years.
This is, like, when you're in your early 20 years, but, like, something happened where you won a scratchy lotto or whatever, so you're going to spend the extra $2 on that 6-pack?
Yeah.
Yeah. And still get shitty, but, like, in style.
Yeah, you're going to be like, oh, this is a $10 6-pack, like, instead of the $4 one that you keep buying.
Right. Which I love those beers, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no. Hey, all beers deserve respect, okay?
I can't wait until someone comes on the show and they're like, I don't know, just give me like some PBR or something. Give me some Rainier, some Ronier.
Actually, speaking of PBR, I have a hilarious PBR story.
Oh, me too. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I was like 18 or 19, I think, living down in Ashland, My buddy and we would always go down to the local like convenience store, I guess it was like small grocery store, and we'd always go to the back and we get like, like a
I know the store you're talking about.
Yeah, like a 40.
I'm actually heading there, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, to the lake on the other side of the freeway.
Oh, nice.
The wife's family lives there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Talent.
Yeah, Talent. When my cousin went to school there, that's where he lived, was in Talent. I only lived in Ashland because I thought it was cool.
Oh, boy, were you wrong.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we went down to the convenience store and like on one of these, like beer ventures, and we like walk in and we see PBR. But
why didn't I name my show Beer Venture?
Beer Venture.
God damn it!
Fuck.
All right, go ahead.
And we see the PBR, but it's like a different color. And we're like, what the hell is this? And it's PBR Light.
Yeah, that exists.
Which, I had never seen.
It's like a unicorn. You've heard about it. You maybe even thought you saw it out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah, so we bought a case of that shit in like a heartbeat because we were like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And like this was during my like heavy drinking years. So like I could handle like probably like 12 beers at most. Like that was my I'd like now I'm down to like 8 at most. I'm like, oh, I'm real drunk. But like back in the day I could handle like 12 beers. And I remember my buddy Ed and I finished off this case and like this is like a 24 rack or whatever, and like
barely buzzed.
I didn't even feel anything.
Yeah,
nothing. And I was like, did I just drink soda water for like an hour?
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean probably.
Yeah, no. When you get that light stuff, it's like, oops. That's for all day drinking. That's for
no beer.
That's for starting on Saturday morning at 10 and going until Saturday night at 10.
Yep.
And you can maintain all day with light beer.
Or if you're playing like a drinking game and like you want to play but you don't want to get like hammered.
Right. I had a barbecue last weekend and I was shopping at Costco and I saw a 36 pack of Bud Light, so I had to get it.
Fuck.
Yeah. I have a completely different PBR story.
Yeah, hit me.
So I got this friend. You've heard of him. His name's Grant.
Yeah, sure.
And we used to go out to the bars before every place started charging a cover, and we watched the UFC fights.
Yeah.
So we were at the Belmont Station, one of those two, whichever one's the bar. And he buys the first round. He buys, I don't know, whatever. So I buy the second pitcher. And he's told me before he will never drink PBR. He will never drink PBR. It's gross. He hates it, blah, blah, blah. So secretly, unbeknownst to him, I buy a pitcher of PBR, but I say can I get orange slices with that?
Oh, God.
So we're about a cup and a half through this pitcher, orange slices in, because it does change the complexion of the beer. American lagers are very adaptable to different types of fruit.
Yeah.
And, he squeezes orange in, he fills one, he's on to the second, and I was like, so how's your beer? And he goes, oh, it's pretty good. What is it? Is it Blue Moon? And I said, and it's clear as day. Blue Moon's cloudy.
Blue Moon's cloudy, yeah. And
I look at him, I go, it's PBR. And he looks at me dead in the eye. You son of a bitch. Since then, I think he's been pretty open to cheaper beers. It's like, oh, you can put fruit in them and they're okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's cheaper.
God, yeah. When I was a bartender, whenever I'd have like the people come in and be like, oh, like give me my like birthday surprise drink or whatever, I'd be like, you want a birthday surprise or do you want a birthday drink that you ordered specifically? They're like, oh, birthday surprise. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get a martini glass and like fill it with PBR and then put like every fucking decoration on there and like kind of swirl it together and then be like, oh, what is this? It's so good.
Did you put like fruit juice and stuff in it, or is it just PBR?
Yeah, just like PBR and then like orange or lime or something.
And that makes it pretty good.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, what is this? Is this vodka? Is this? I'm like, no, it's PBR. Surprise.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I loved being bitterly angry as a bartender. Like, I think secretly most bartenders who like do it for a long period of time, like as much as they like outwardly bitch about being a bartender, I think they secretly love also just like regularly shitting on people. Like, yeah. One of my favorite people in the world had a bunch of guys who were definitely at a bar for just watching like a UFC fight. and they were just being, standard bro-like bros and broing it up. And she just called them tap out 1, 2, and 3. And they were like, "What'd you call me?" And she's like, "Hey, listen, tap out. Like, just order your fucking drink and get going."
I would appreciate that. If I was tap out 1 or 3, but if I'm number 2, I'm pissed off.
I'm not tap out 2, okay? I'm tap out 1 or 3. End of story.
Yeah, I like that kind of sass if it's cheeky from a bartender. I've also had bartenders who are just like, "Oh, they hate their life. You're ruining my experience."
Yeah, I don't want to be sad.
Yeah, I don't mind you pitching me shit all night long.
Yeah.
Please do. That's fun. But don't be sad. don't hate work in my general direction. Hate it at the cook or something.
Yeah, or maybe make fun of one of the other people that's there in front of me.
I don't mind you making fun of me as long as you're making fun of me and it's funny.
Well, yeah.
But if you're just being mean,
vindictive,
yeah, or slow as fuck. I don't mind a slow bartender in a full bar. You're busy. I get it. But there's not that many people there and you're slow as fuck. Oh, what are you doing? This is
I need my drink.
Tip industry, but I hate tipping. As a general rule, I hate tipping.
All right,
Let me tell you why. I think that in states where you can earn below minimum wage, if you're tipping, I think that's absolute fucking garbage.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's stupid. So, I mean, in those states, I get the argument, and I would tip way more than I do now. I still tip, don't get me wrong. There is social etiquette that I will adhere to. But I don't like it because I worked in a service industry job. I worked at a country market where I had to deal with people all the time. I had to carry bags. I had to pump gas. I had to do those. No tips involved. And I'm working just as hard as a waiter, a bartender, whatever. And I think it's, if you're going to do it across the board or just don't do it at all. And obviously, I'm not the one who gets to make that decision. So yes, I still tip. I just hate it. I hate it because it's not across all service. It's specific service, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, it bums me out, and yeah, I agree with the whole and especially in other states, it being you tip to basically pay their wage.
I think there's only 2 states that have that.
Yeah, that's an extra stab in the chest because it's
fucking garbage.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, just charge more for the food. I would feel, you know what I mean? Just pay them a standard because I've had friends that say it's one thing when you take home all your tips and you're like, cool, I made $600 for the week or whatever, and then you're like, and that check will be really nice, and then you get the check and it's like, oh, it's $0 because all of your check was already covered in the tips, and you're like, well,
yeah, that's not how it should work.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm there, you pay me hourly wage.
Yeah, I am working for your business, pay me my wage.
I did work at a tip job for a while. I worked driving pizza. And I made probably, and this is early 2000s, I made probably $14 an hour with tips.
Nice.
Well, it's very nice. However, if I didn't ever get tips, I would still have earned what I did.
Yep.
I sat on my ass and listened to the radio. I listened to the Blazers game on the radio and drove around. Okay, I'll take that 8, 10 or whatever it was at the time. 7... it's not as high as it was now.
725, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it was like, well, yeah, that's I would have been okay with it because it's it's a steady paycheck. But the tips did help. I was young and blew them all.
Yeah, oh man. If I could tell younger me to chill it on the spending, whew.
Yeah.
But
it was nice having cash tips for gas though in a driving job.
Yeah, because then you just hand them a 10 or whatever just to make it to the next stop.
Well, so it was Domino's, and they actually paid you something like 35 cents per mile or whatever it was. They paid you, and I think they paid you out cash because they're like, we always want you to have gas in your tank when you're working.
Yeah.
And they didn't want you to stop in your shift. So they actually were very good. I don't know if it's all Domino's or the one I worked at, but they were very good at handing you cash to make sure you have gas.
Well, that's become I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure it's a standard across the board because when I do production work and stuff, if I clock miles in my own vehicle, Or if when I was driving pizza myself for Bellagio's, like if you clock miles while driving, I think it is like 35 cents per mile. Your company reimburses you. And when I was working Portlandia as an intern, that was the only money that was coming to me at the end of every week.
Yeah.
Was like payout for driving. And oh man, if you want, I'll rant about internships for a minute.
You got an IMDb credit?
Yeah, I got like a credit out at Mount Hood for doing the
No, IMDb credit.
Oh, do I have an IMDb?
Yeah.
I could technically put myself on there.
Sure, yeah. I was just wondering.
No, I don't.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I've thought about making. Yeah, I should make an IMDb credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably do that. But yeah, I'll rant about internships if you want me to, because like that's.
Yeah, I need to. Once I incorporate this. I want an intern.
Well, as long as you pay your intern, like I don't.
No.
Okay,
It's for paying them an experience.
Paying them an experience. Oof.
I'm broke, son.
Yeah, no, I think like internships are one of those things where it's like
they should be at least paid minimum wage.
Yeah, and I think
even if it's a
$40
an hour job,
at least pay the minimum.
At least pay a minimum, if not more.
Well, I think
it's weird, right? It's one of those things that's really weird where it's a loophole that needs to be closed.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems too is like I think that these like Portlandia wasn't like I stuck around because I wanted to keep working, but like I think a lot of these companies and stuff will sit there and like milk these interns for like 6 months, a year, and like keep almost promising them like a quote unquote real job or whatever. And
then never follow through.
And then they never follow through. And I think that's the sin is like if you keep an intern past a certain point, I think that you should be required to hire them.
That makes sense. I like that. And I mean, I like the idea of internships. I do. Again, pay minimum wage. Yeah. Even if it's a $50 an hour job, pay minimum wage just so they can get back and forth to work. They can eat, whatever. They're taking time out of their day. It's time spent.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I do like the idea of, all right, you're interested in this and you may quit at any time if you decide that this isn't for you. So I'm taking on that risk. So let me pay you less than what the job is for you to decide that you want this career.
And for me to train you.
Yes.
Like on the job training. Yeah.
And you are getting experience and college credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Bonus. Cool. So I'm fine with them paying less for that kind of thing.
Sure.
I know this beer is making me burp a lot. And
it's a very burpy beer. I keep like turning to like burp.
I'm trying to be polite, but I am burping a lot. And I do agree that experience is pay unto itself. But I think that your 6 month you got to hire whatever limit. Although you're going to have a lot of 5 month get out of here interns.
Yeah, exactly. Or like
which is gross.
5 months and 29 days.
They'll loophole it.
Yeah, somehow. Everyone's going to loophole it somehow. That's like 3 or 6 months.
Garbage industry, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's Oof. But yeah, no, I think that if you have like limiters like that, and then you also require that at least a minimum wage, I think that's fair.
Yeah, minimum wage, at least. I don't think. Again, it's like with the state with the tips. Tip industry jobs. Yep. Doesn't matter. You're putting in hours. No one should work for less than minimum wage in any job. You shouldn't. That's it. Are you working? The end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you doing a service for someone else? Probably should get some money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting college credit, but like you can intern without college credit, right? Can you? Yeah, you can totally intern. You don't have to be enrolled in anything. You can just sign up for an internship to earn the experience.
I know that a lot of like internships and stuff like operate through college because it create like the colleges create like an insurance barrier so that if you get like hurt on the job or something, technically it's the school's responsibility to pay for it. I think that's the way that kind of stuff works. So I think that a lot of like internships go through that. But like bigger corporations and stuff, I think can get away with like, having like an insurance policy for, non-hired employee kind of stuff.
Yeah. Fucking corporations.
Yeah, man. Woo!
But, yeah, I think experience is pay, but so is pay.
Yeah.
You know, it's like these college athletes. Fucking pay them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They're earning for you. They're doing a job. Pay them. You don't have to pay them NFL salaries.
No.
But okay, so let's say, and they're limited in their practice time. Cool. So even if you paid them minimum wage for practice and game time, which is not enough. However, it would be at least you would at least have a leg to stand on. And I don't mean this per diem shit where you're giving them credits to eat. That's not pay. If someone comes in and he's star quarterback of whatever college and he's not doing anything shady, which they all are.
They're kids. What do you? I mean,
yeah, give him a paycheck for the time he's put in, and so he can buy a fucking Xbox game.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, my cousin is he's doing basketball up at UP, and he's been looking into like, I mean, like the amount of work that he puts in to it's literally a full-time job.
Okay, well, here's the thing. They're required for this practice, and they are pushed to do individual work. I don't think because you can say no to that individual work.
Sure.
I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the required stuff. Now, the individual work, I think, is you being a go-getter.
Yeah.
So and it is a full-time job if you are a go-getter. But to be on the team, you're not required to do that.
Yeah,
I would personally shave those hours.
Sure.
But everything that you're required to games, travel to games, I mean, that's your time. That's your study time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense because, like, if you're looking to get like a promotion in your job and stuff, like you're not clocking hours for the study work that you're doing outside of your job. You're clocking the hours that you're at the job, trying to like work. So yeah, I guess like working out and all that kind of. So yeah, the go-getter attitude, I get that, but
sure.
Still, like
personal gym time. Because who's to say that, like, let's say you were cut right now, that guy, your cousin. Well, he's still gonna hit the gym, right? He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing though, is like it's that moral or not moral, but it's that gray area where, because like his coach is calling him and being like, "Oh, so are you hitting the gym tonight? Are you doing this one thing? Are you doing?" And it's not. He's not required to do those things.
I think that coaches should say, "Hey, there are open gyms at this time. There are open workouts at this time. We will be there to help you if you want, or whatever it is." But like, don't fucking pressure them.
Yeah,
like, and that's if you're getting paid. Since it's all not paid, go ahead and pressure them. I don't know. It's garbage. It's a fucking garbage industry too. College sports is just dirty as shit.
Well, having been someone that like worked on budgets for a community college, a lot of this stuff is just so making students like make do with the small amounts of money that actually go towards their like product or like their events and their groups and their clubs, making them be in charge kind of almost like sidetracks the issue of like the university or the college school board like pulling in half of the like net gain of that college and being like, whoa, we're gonna have to make cutbacks and stuff. And it's like, why are you making cutbacks when you're making like 6 to 7 figures every year? Like,
right.
Come on. Like, these students are paying you for a service and you're just eating that money.
Colleges and universities, I don't know what they're doing right now. Like, why are costs to go to school going up so heavily when the value of the degree is going down?
It's the greed factor, and that bums me out.
I think I'm down with, okay. I'm not a socialist of any sort, but I think that secondary education should be free to anyone who wants to go, and put limits on it. If you're not making the grade, you can still come if you pay. Cool. But like, think of it this way. You go for free-ish, grades 1 to 12. So why can't 13 to 16 be free? Or you can opt out of it. So you're compelled to go to 1 to 12, right? You have to. That's just kind of...
Exactly.
All right, cool. Now, at 13, you can opt out or you can stay in. And if you stay in, get good grades.
Yeah, I think... Well,
I am really into free education because it makes everything better.
Yeah, and for me, like, with the higher education stuff, I think what a lot of people miss out on is they think that, like, oh, this is for people who are 18 to 22, who would be going into 13th year of school and forward.
It can be. I think it's...
But I think that's the right thing, is it can be.
Yeah, it's mostly.
It could be a secondary place for you to be like, oh, hey, if, you know, my employer said that I need this kind of knowledge to be able to get a promotion, or my employer thinks that if I had this kind of knowledge, I could get a promotion or find a better job somewhere. And I think that people kind of miss out on that idea that, like, even though you're not 18 to 22, if there was higher education that was accessible, that was cheap, that was free, you could also utilize those classes. You could also utilize those degree programs to improve yourself and change your, you know, path.
Yeah, I think in my head, I would like to make that like the outlier, the minority. I think I would like for there to be okay, so 1 to 12, general education. 13 to whatever, specific education. And I think that's going to make everything better. Now, all those other people that you're talking about, let's say this was in place, I think those guys would be much fewer and far in between, since you got that free education to...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I think...
And I don't... I think that'd be... I think all education makes society better.
Yeah, no, I think that's the other thing too, is like education is the one thing that, while not necessarily directly, but indirectly fixes all our problems.
Well, so here's the issue with that. So your initial education system, right, was put together not necessarily through the government, but by wealthy people, and they what it was initially is to make workers.
Yep.
And that's what it's doing, and we need workers. But
absolutely.
But I think we need a little bit more room to let visionaries come up. Especially with we're getting into it, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going deep.
Especially since automation is going to get rid of a lot of jobs. Automation is going to take over a lot of workers.
But I mean, that's the inevitability of humanity.
Sure, yeah.
So automation takes over.
So then let's, instead of making workers, because we're not going to need workers anymore, let's make people who are going to do something else.
Innovators.
Yes. Innovators, visionaries, inventors, or someone who is going to do nothing. Make them less of a drain on the rest of us.
Yeah, that's, you know...
What do you... Go ahead. Sorry.
I've been thinking of a new human model for like how we could operate a society. And one of the things I thought about was like, what if you supplied everybody with... And this sounds like the... I
think this was what I was just going to bring up, is universal basic income.
Yeah. Probably. Because like I think the rights, like, hellish future is like everyone is in this like robotic, like, I am designed to fill this role. But like, to me, I think that once you turn 18, I think that like having a society where you're like, all right, so you can have this apartment and you get to stay there, and as long as you do X thing, you get, you know, X amount of food, and that's it. Like,
sure.
And that's the minimum,
and that should be an option.
That's the minimum. And I think that a lot of people think like, oh, well, no one's going to do that. It's like a lot of people want to do that.
Yeah.
And then
tons of people are going to do that.
Because there are a lot of people who are like, I just want to exist and I just want to experience other people. And that is, I think that we undermine how important that is.
I think people with drive or any sort of thought of upward mobility don't understand people who don't.
It's a fundamental misunderstanding, and I get that now. Now that I don't think that 30 is this magical number that like you reach that age and you're like, I understand everything. True enlightenment.
Are you 30?
I am 30 now. Yeah.
You still look 24.
Oh, thanks.
Oh.
Wait till I shave and I look like I'm 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think
wait till I shave and lose 4 pounds.
Ooh.
This beard is serious right now.
Yeah, you got a fucking mountain man beard going right now. It's
so I grew this since the wedding.
okay.
It's not quite a year, but it's close. I've been trimming this bitch like a bonsai tree though.
Have you found yeast in it? Are you going to brew a beer out of it?
Well, I mean, you could do that. Like
you totally can. There was a dude in fucking Portland who did that.
Well, no. Rogue Breweries has a beer. If you go to their brewery, where it's a beard yeast grown beer.
Yeah, that's the dude I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh,
gross.
Man, so
never
weird.
ordered it. We'll never. No.
Like I know that it's a culture that's been like grown out of it and like passed down.
Sure.
But like there's no way that I'm gonna get.
I ain't drinking a dude's beard.
Yeah, no. Like, I'm never gonna get that imagery out of my head.
No.
That's not my jam.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was like super into dudes and I was like, I could bathe in a beard.
You gotta be super into bears though.
Yeah, like
because I don't care if this guy's skinny. He grew beard yeast beard.
Beardiest beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this tangent better. Deep societal solutions are really hard for me to get in on.
Yeah, no, we can stop talking about that. Because it's not going to happen. I mean,
that's
universal basic income may eventually become a thing. They're actually trying it here and there, even in the U.S. There's cities, and I think that I'm not sold on it, but I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I wish that. The United States, to me, the way that the original, like, Bill of Rights and the Constitution and stuff were, like, written, to me, the way that I see it is it's supposed to be this experimental, that didn't work, let's try something new kind of, like, message.
But those motherfuckers had no idea what was going to happen in 200 years.
Exactly.
They didn't know there was going to be nearly 8 billion people on Earth.
Yeah. The numerics of everything is so unfathomable. Like, even today, like, thinking, like, can you picture $1 million? Like, honestly, can you? Yeah, like, it's...
But $1 million when I was a kid is, like, $200 million now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a completely different thought.
Yeah, and
if I won, right now, you gave me $1 million, right? Tax-free, nothing. I'm probably not going to quit my job. That's $1 million, and I'm probably not going to quit my job.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
You give me $100 million, I'll quit my job.
Yeah.
I'll give him 2 weeks, though. I'll be nice.
All right, here's my 2-week notice. I just won the lottery. I am a 100 millionaire.
Dude, I think about winning the lottery all the time.
Everybody does.
What would be your first purchase?
I think I want a house. Like,
no, you can't first purchase a house, though, because it takes too long.
Okay, that's
your
fair.
First purchase. Whoa. Hey, watch out for that table.
I'm sorry. I want a new car, and like I know that a lot of people are like immediately imagining like, oh, he wants like like a fucking Charger or a Ferrari.
Mine. By the way, don't ever say those two in the same category.
Yeah,
they're not.
No, I was thinking like sports car or like fancy car.
My first purchase would be a car. Go ahead.
But I just want like a fucking like electric electric car.
Tesla.
Like a Tesla.
You
or
can say
something.
Tesla.
Yeah,
it's a really nice car. But you would go balls out and get the, expensive one, right?
No,
not the Roadster, but the sedan, but like with all the bells and whistles.
No, I wouldn't even go all bells and whistles.
Really?
I just want like I sound like such an old man, but I just want like a good, reliable car that like I know will get me from point A to point B and might be possibly like easier on the environment. Like,
yeah, I'm such the opposite. 2017 Camaro ZL1 white with black highlights.
See, and I want you to win the lottery because then I can ride around in that fast ass car and like have a good time.
I mean, you saw what I got now. I got a 2013 Camaro. I'm fucking sold on Camaros now. Since they brought back the muscle car.
Yeah.
That thick ass fucking car.
I've never been like a big car person, like in general. Like,
yeah.
I like the look, but like the old muscle car look just looks so much better than the modern bubble, as I like to think of it as.
Or the new Corvettes are fucking rocket ships, and that's cool if you like that. But I want a big old thickie.
Yeah, like I think I'd like. It's funny because in the motorcycle world, I like the more rockety look, and I think it's probably because I grew up on Akira.
Yeah,
because I mean,
Akira, Tatsuo,
Kaneda. Oh man, I could fucking shout names.
Quick tangent.
Yes,
I used to work in a warehouse, and we would ship off to a bunch of places around the Pacific Northwest and a little bit beyond, but for some reason, every time I would pass by pallets that were going to Tacoma, I would yell, Tacoma! And everyone would be like, what the fuck? No, like, shut up.
It's fine. Just let me yell it.
Yeah. Tacoma!
But yeah, man, like, I love, with sports cars, I love that, like, muscly, like...
But you want to crotch rocket if you get a bike.
Yeah. Like, I want something like that looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Or looks like a 1980s anime.
Yeah. Someone built that bike, by the way. I've seen it. I don't know if it goes fast at all, but someone built that bike where it goes.
That's hot.
Yeah.
I want to ride that bike.
Yeah. Come on, ride the bike. Ride it. Yeah, no, I'm in the same vein as cars and bikes. I like the old fucking what do they call old timer recliners, like a cruiser. Yeah. I like cruisers.
Yeah, I think so my dad for his midlife crisis, he bought a Harley. I
don't like Harleys.
Yeah, and
it's the sound. They're too loud for me. But go ahead. I like the style. I like the look. I don't like the sound.
Yeah, and
so I'm a Honda guy.
Yeah, and he had a Honda prior to that.
Mm-hmm. Just wasn't loud enough.
Yeah, and like I liked it, but it was crotch rocket shaped and stuff.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
And then
that's what's cool about Hondas is they make both.
Yeah, and then he midlife crisis got a Harley, and I was like,
"Have you ridden it?"
No, not yet. He proclaims that he won't let me ride his motorcycles because I won't be able to pick them up, and like if I topple them over. Which isn't like that's true. Like my little fucking scrawny arms can't pick that shit up. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he like wrecked me day one. I was like, oh, maybe I can take it for a ride. He's like, no, you won't be able to pick it up. I was like, oh, fucking stabbed in the heart by my own father.
That's mean. It's hilarious, but mean. Is your dad a big guy?
Yeah, I mean,
because you would be described as gingly.
Yes, I would be described as gangly. He's more of a stocky guy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the tall one in the family.
Are you like a foot taller than him or what?
Oh, yeah. And he won't let me forget that because it's a one thing I have on him.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, this is my short son. And I'm like...
He's always making dad jokes about it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% dad joke about it all the time. Dude, speaking of my height... so growing up in the family, for, like while I was growing up, I was the youngest for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then my cousin who's playing basketball up at UP.
Yeah, I was going to say, how tall is he?
He's 6'9".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's a giant.
He looks down on you like you're a little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm all 6'5" and looking up at him like, all right, fucker. But I remember being the youngest.
Did you ever play ball?
I did for a little bit in junior high, but after the Josi Shuffle was invented, I stopped.
The Josi Shuffle?
Yeah, I got one basket, and I was really excited about it.
Well, you're not quick.
No.
I think that if you had embraced basketball and worked on it, you could have been good.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing was I played basketball in junior high because I was super into it then.
Yeah.
And then I sucked at it.
Then it takes a lot of work to get...
Yeah, and then freshman year hit, and I was like, well, I can join basketball.
Did you ever dunk?
No, because I didn't grow until sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
So freshman year, I joined I was thinking about joining the basketball team.
You got tall but slowed down.
Yeah, and I wanted to join the basketball team, or I wanted to join speech and debate, and I was like, well, I suck at basketball, so I'm going to do speech and debate.
You couldn't do both. That sucks.
Yeah, and so then the year went by. I grew to 6'2", and they were like, hey, so you're a tall guy now. And I was like, yeah, I got speech and debate going on now. Like, I'm sorry, I'm pretty good at that.
I'm already into it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm deep into it. But yeah, so and it was right around that time that like my cousin was born, and I was like, all right, so I'm no longer the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns like 15 or 16, and he gets to like 6'7".
Jesus.
And I was like, bro, like you took youngest from me and now you're taking tallest from me. What the? And now he's like 19 and like he's a handsome guy too. I'm like, man, like I was maybe pushing for the prettiest in the family and now you're taking that from me too. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause he's like.
So it's like twins, but you're Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I didn't start out as Danny DeVito. I started out as fucking Arnold.
You started.
Yeah. And then it just slowly piled down. That's okay though.
Well, he piled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in shape too, which I got to say, like, you know, a lot of guys, like they, between like, after about 27, they start to get like a little bit of weight on them. That's just, it's what happens.
I started about around that 25 to 27.
Yep. And,
you've always known me as fat. I, until about 25, 27, had a 6-pack.
Yeah.
4-pack.
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 2.5-pack.
Definitely 4-pack. Definitely 4-pack. And then I got with a girl who wanted me to not go to the gym. And I broke my ankle when I was 20. So it was rough from then on. And then I found World of Warcraft. And then I sat and drank Mountain Dew.
But like...
It's tough.
You know, like a lot of guys are like... When they gain weight, they're stocky and stuff. You know what I mean? But like, I will only gain weight around my waist. So I'm this skinny guy with this like weird
skinny or dad bod.
Yeah, skinny dad bod, and it's such a weird. It looks real weird to me. Yeah. It's
Well, you know, recently they found a solution to that.
Sit-ups.
Well, it's called the gym. So.
Oh yeah, no, I joined one of those.
Yeah, those will do it.
Yeah, actually,
I think that if you put, honestly, a month and a half into curls, you notice it. You notice a change.
Well,
your shirt off.
And that's the thing is like I joined the gym, and then after about a month of going to the gym, I was like, I have to quit smoking, which has been one of the hardest things. But, and I'll get into that in a second. But like quitting smoking has definitely improved my life. Mm-hmm. But as the like backup to that. Like now that I've quit smoking, I'm like, all right, so now I'm working out and I'm no longer smoking. Now I have to like take that extra step and figure out
how to eating pasta and bread.
Fuck yeah. And how to figure out how to do like workouts
and you got
to the extent of it. You know what I mean?
So as they say, abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym.
Yes.
Right. You put on bulk in the gym, you thin down in the kitchen. And I hate to tell you, but vegans have it tough.
Well, that's why I rolled back to vegetarian.
Okay. Good, because eggs are fucking amazing for you.
Yeah.
And honestly, and it depends person to person, but I think, so vegan, if you go by literally cruelty-free, you can eat eggs.
Yes.
And honey.
Yes.
Now, if you're vegan, no animal byproduct, different.
Yes.
But cruelty-free, especially if you know a guy or you have your own chickens, they're coming, whether you want them or not. Eat them. They're good for you. Especially, by the way, you may not eat meat, but you want your chickens to fucking eat, gobble up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes the eggs so much more rich.
That actually like hurts my heart when like I hear people who are, because okay, so I dipped deep into veganism for a minute, and it hurts my heart when I hear people talk about how like, oh, I feed my dog or I feed my cat. Like,
you can't do cats.
Yeah.
Dogs you can maybe get away with. Cats are what do they call obligatory?
Yes.
Carnivores.
And it hurts my heart because it's like, yeah, like you get that choice because humans are designed to be somewhat like of an omnivore.
Well, they can figure it out.
Right.
You can figure out being vegan and human.
But
cats will die.
Cats die.
They go blind and then they die.
And like dogs have a hard time if you're not like moderating the like what they're eating really, really well.
Yeah, dogs just shouldn't do it. Cats cannot do it.
Exactly. So yeah, that hurts my heart. But yeah,
that is rough. They're animals. They're not free will.
No. You are imposing will onto them.
Yeah, and that is you're right. That is very sad.
Good times. Anyways,
but so you rolled back to vegetarian.
So I rolled back to vegetarian, and part of that.
So what did you add?
Some cheese.
Okay.
Eggs. And then I don't. So the way that I operate now for my diet is it's a lot of when I have the choice, when it's available, I'm eating vegetarian, and when I have the choice, I'm eating vegan.
Okay.
That being said, because I work on film sets and a lot of them are small budget, so a lot of them aren't able to, like, thankfully, since it's Portland, a lot of people are like, hey, like, are you vegetarian? Hey, are you gluten-free?
Sure,
hey, are you vegan? But that being said, like, sometimes it's just like, you know, you gotta like the barbecue grill or something like that, and like the only things that are available or like chicken wings or things like that. Yeah. Like, I will eat meat. I'm not okay. That's I'm like, not morally opposed to it.
Like when I asked you about this podcast, if you want to grill, do you want to bring some vegan dogs?
Because, exactly.
I like it. I've actually lost 10 pounds in the past 2 weeks just by eating off the grill.
Yeah.
Meat and vegetables off the grill.
Well, I think
cutting down processed foods has really helped me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So
that's why I did it originally.
Yeah, I hate to say this. And I don't hate vegans. I don't want to shit on them, but I see so many vegans gain weight on veganism. It's because they're like, oh, I'm vegan now. Give me all the bread and pasta. And it's like, well, that's sugar. You're eating pure sugar.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just eating sugar, and it's tough. Like, I don't think that. So I try to stay clean out of sugar and bread and whatnot. Keto really worked for me. I previously lost 40 pounds on keto.
Nice.
And it worked for me. Now, for example, my wife tried it for a little bit and she did not work for her. She didn't feel good. She shouldn't do that diet, right? Every person is different and everyone should do the thing that makes them feel best.
Well, and I've been reading about on diets and stuff, and I've been hearing about like the endomorph and the different body types.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it has to do with where your ancestors came from.
Yes. And for me, like, carbs aren't my enemy.
Yeah.
But like, just like everybody else, like if I load up on them,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna put on weight. Like,
you're just eating pure sugar at that point.
Exactly. So yeah, like,
so having carbs and having lots of carbs is two different stories.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but like the amount of what is a lot of carbs to you is not necessarily a lot of carbs to me. It's
right.
Like
exactly.
Is the only difference.
Like if you're say Italian, where they all ate pasta all the time and they adapted to it, is not going to be as bad as if you're like I'm gonna say something stupid here, but like a place where they didn't have as much bread and pasta and they had more meat and vegetables, ancestry. So I think where I'm mostly German, English Isles, what are they called? Not Great Britain, but the Britain Isles, and then Native American. That's a lot of meat and fucking veggies. So
yeah, for me,
that's what
like,
works for me.
I'm like a weird like European mash. So like,
it seems like Southern European has more bread, more carbs. Northern doesn't.
Yeah, I'm Swiss, French, English. I've lost to myself several times in wars.
Well, I mean, you could just say any European and do that.
That's
if
fair.
You go back far enough.
That's fair. Yeah, actually, going to Switzerland, I learned where a lot of my like French and Swiss history came from, because there is a region in Switzerland, and I think this is so cool. There's a region in Switzerland that has a language known as dialect, which is where Switzerland, Italy, and France kind of like converge. Mm-hmm. They have a dialect like language that is some amalgamation of Germanic, Italian, French, and it is such an interesting language to hear.
Germanic, is that really?
Well,
isn't it Germanic?
Dutch.
Germanic?
Germanic.
I don't know.
Germanic.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it hit my ear weird.
Okay, well, I mean,
I don't know.
That's how I heard it.
I honestly have no idea.
Sure, but
it could be 100% correct. And I'm just a dummy. I mean, that's probably it.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like hearing like that French, because French and Italian have that like
very similar.
Yeah, very similar kind of romantic bounce.
I think. Well, that's the thing is, people who speak French, Spanish, and Italian usually can at least communicate with each other.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they're close enough where we're like, I'll get some ideas across to you.
Yeah. And like I think that's why on a base level, like a lot of English speakers who know like the roots of our words and like understand the English language can like not necessarily like know German or no Italian or no French, but like a lot of our words come
easily
from that.
Adaptable.
Right. You can hear something, you're like, that kind of sounds like one of our words, and so you kind of like relate to it in some regard.
For sure. When I was learning German, I took 2 years, not fluent, I took 2 years, I learned enough. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Everything you're saying makes sense. I get it all. And by the way, public schools, English class didn't teach me anything about grammar. They tried. They didn't.
Oh, yeah.
German class taught me everything about grammar. I got so much better at English by taking German.
That's the thing with a lot of languages, too. I think
it's because American English is it's not as bad as Polish, but it's such a bastardized language where you just toss everything in a pot.
I finally got the big burp that was like building in my gut.
Yeah.
And that I would love to see a lot more incorporation of, and not just in necessarily schools, but in day-to-day life, of like encouraging people to learn another language, because I think there's so much to gain learning another language. And for like a multitude of reasons, like it improves your brain, as far as some science is now starting to think that it might offset Alzheimer's, which my family's known for, so I would love that shit.
Yeah.
And then also other things like,
But I think that's not going to happen.
No.
And here's why. You heard of a thing called the Google Pixel?
Oh my God.
Translates fucking for you.
I have one in my pocket right now. It's on the chair behind me so that I wouldn't check it all the time.
It's the Babblefish.
It's so good.
Yeah. So it's good. In 10 years from now, it's going to be great. No one's ever going to have to speak another language again.
Hey,
they're
Google,
they're going to do it for fun.
Google Mastermind, because you're listening to literally everything on the internet. If you want to just like give me money, I will talk about the Pixel 24/7. So just give me money and I'll do that.
Yeah. So I should get one next phone.
Oh my God. It's
I'm really into Samsung.
Well, okay.
Android, of course.
I was talking with somebody about this yesterday. I think that if you are in deep on one type, because like they were an iPhone nerd.
Yeah.
And I was talking about my Pixel. I was like, look, if you're in deep on your iPhone, fucking stick with it.
Yeah.
Because if you know the layout and know where everything is, the second you switch, you're going to be like, it's just different enough. Yeah. And I don't know. But since Samsung and Pixel both run on Android.
Yeah, it's an Android. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well, I was Pixel. Motorola until they started sucking. And then I switched over to the Samsung, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in. Give me the Note. Give me that big fucking screen. And then I've been Note ever since, like 2, 4, 6, whatever.
Sure.
So I'm all in on Android. I think it's the best of what's out there because iPhone, I think, is good if everything you own is Mac.
Yes, and for people in media,
which I don't.
For people in media, I always think it's like a tough thing because everybody wants to operate in Mac, and I get it.
Sure,
because fundamentally, Mac makes everything more accessible for Adobe and et cetera, et cetera. But
and if all you have is Mac, 100%, you should have an iPhone.
Yeah, it links everything together.
If you're an Apple, go all in.
Yeah. But
if you're a PC user,
you have a little bit of choice, and maybe you should lean towards
Windows Phone is fucking horrible. Yeah, I agree. No, Windows Phone was atrocious. I think that they had a chance and they blew it.
Yes.
So Android, I think, is the unofficial PC user's phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, it'd just be so expensive for me to switch all over to Mac at this point.
You're replacing your PC, you're replacing your phone, you're replacing, like your user agreements for your software. You have to re-download everything.
Everything.
Yeah, it's not.
No, and I mean, so I remember back in the day, I was dating this girl, very nice girl, but she had an iPhone and I had an Android. Mm-hmm. And so I used them both a bunch. I'm like, well, they're both good. But with the Android, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And with the iPhone, I do what they'd let me do. Now, I'm not saying it's not a good phone. They were both good phones. It's just, what do you want to do? And I wanted to have different ringtones for all sorts of shit.
Right.
I mean, it's
the
really,
little things.
It's really just as basic as that.
The little things.
Yeah, it's virtually nothing. But at the time, it was like, all right, well, okay, well, you use your phone and it's good. I'm not one of those, team guys on anything really, but especially phones. Sure. Team Android, team iPhone, whatever you like. That's what's good for you because they're all good.
But I will push the Pixel.
So yeah,
24/7.
So Pixel, has it come out yet? Pixel 2, or is it coming out soon?
I believe it is officially out now. I'm not 100% positive.
Is that what I should get?
Yeah, because I have the Pixel 1.
Note 8 now.
I have the Pixel 1. I love it. I'll bring this up here in a second, but the size is really nice.
Giggity.
Yeah. I really love the
size is nice. Yeah. 6 inches.
6 inches.
What's up? Go ahead.
I love the size on the aspect that it is. The screen is like the right largeness. Like we'll keep pushing into this whole like sex joke thing. It's like the perfect bigness. Because if you hold it like the amount of distance away from your face that you want it to be, it's just the right size. If you have larger to like moderate hands, it fits comfortably in there.
I would say I'm super average on the hands. But I like the bigger screen because I like to see it. I want to see more. I want to see more.
Yeah.
There are maybe 1 or 2 programs where it's a struggle to reach.
Sure.
Worth it for me.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is that if you go deep on the like Google apps or Google like accessories like Drive or the Photos Drive. Or anything like that, having access to all that kind of stuff like in your phone and it being more centrally integrated for my phone
all the time.
Yeah, it being more centrally integrated, it's just a touch better, and I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now with Google Pixel, can you get that on any format, or do you got to go through any carrier, or do you got to go through?
It's any carrier. Yeah,
okay.
You can like
because I know they have their own special thing, which is probably better than what I'm using now.
So I've been on Project Fi, their program, for a little while now.
Yeah.
It started out like garbage.
Sure.
Which, I mean, any new carrier will probably start out that way. But they had a pretty big turnaround. And what you do is you buy a data like allotment per month. So you're like, I'm going to use 3 gigs. And so that's X amount of money. And
I
then
don't know about that, though.
And then once you hit that marker, they're like, all right, so you hit the marker, but we're still going to give you data. It's just not going to be as fast.
Okay.
And as much as everybody loves to shit on the 3G network, if you're primarily using your data for maps, if you're primarily using your data for like a quick like search online, 3G is not a big deal. It's when you're watching stuff on YouTube. It's when you're
sometimes
or like playing like a really high-end app game. Which if you're playing a high-end app game, maybe just buy like a Switch or something.
I like to have app games on my phone, and I never use them. You know what I use them for? I like to get the offline ones, so when I'm visiting family in fucking Talent or Ashland, where there's no service, because they're up in the hills from there, I got something to do. Like
you can just fidget for a minute.
I got this dope fucking cribbage game on here.
Oh man, you want to talk cribbage, dude?
I love cribbage.
I love that game. That game is stupid fun. Yeah.
Well, I got a board downstairs. Maybe after this we can play a game.
Yeah, I will totally play a game of cribbage. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I love cribbage. That's fucking fun. That's one of those games that some people learned as kids, and it's really dying out.
It makes me really sad because I think it's one of those games that like shouldn't be like a club game, but it kind of feels like you don't know about cribbage.
I think our father's generation.
Yeah,
a lot of people played it.
Yep.
And then now people play Minecraft instead.
Sure.
And I mean, Minecraft's dope, but like, I don't think people play board games with their kids like we play with our fathers.
Sure.
And
I'm not saying times are changing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's just the reality of the day to day.
Oh,
in a first world country.
When I have kids, they're learning cribbage.
Should I teach my daughter? I don't think she would like it.
There's not an if.
I got a kiddo. She's 5. I don't think she would enjoy it. She loves pretend more than anything. So cool. Let her live in that world.
Yeah, no, I mean,
be creative. I don't think she wants to sit down and have rules.
I don't think that
we've played the match game where you put down a bunch of things face down and yeah. She plays that for a minute and then just starts making up her own rules and then whatever. That's fine.
For me, I think I truly started to enjoy cribbage when I was like 14. And from about that point forward, I was like, yeah, you want to play some cribbage? And my friends would be like, yeah, let's go. I
learned pinochle at a young age because my parents were always playing, and I would get bored and come in and I want to sit in a hand.
Sure.
And so I learned that and I know no one that plays pinochle, especially. So my parents would have friends over all the time, and they would play two-handed. So 4 people.
Oh, yeah.
Double deck pinochle. That's, I think, the best pinochle.
That's cool.
Double deck.
Your pinochle, I think, is my like hearts.
Sure. Yeah, we play hearts and spades too.
Yeah. Or oh man, if we're going into card games, I also love Rich Man Poor Man.
I don't know what that is.
Oh man, that's a great game. So a lot of it is just basically whoever ends up with the winning position based off cards and et cetera, moves up higher on the ranking, and then whoever ends up with like the shittier hand moves down. And just the shit talking that happens during
How many people is in this game?
I think like the best game is about 6, but you can go upwards with double decks and stuff.
Have you ever heard of Hand and Foot?
Maybe.
Okay, so Hand and Foot is a canasta game. You ever heard of canasta, you know?
Yes.
Okay. So I had this girlfriend back in just out of high school, and her family played Hand and Foot, and we would play the shit out of it all the time. It was a lot of fun. It was canasta, but like you had a hand, which started with 7 cards.
Yep.
And you had to get out of that hand, and then you had 7 cards laying face down, and then you had to get out of your foot. And you had to have 1 natural canasta, 1 with a wild card in order to go out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty complex, but Rummy, my mom liked to play. Oh, I should get her in a game soon.
That sounds like a very similar version to Rich Man Poor Man, where you're laying down
groups of 7.
Like multiples of cards.
Okay,
in some
so regard. Like Rummy.
Yeah, kind of like Rummy.
Straights and
like
pairs of 3.
Yeah, you're laying down like multiples of the same card, and as you lay it all down, as you go out is where you get your placement.
Yeah,
and I love that. Like, there's something magical about like sitting around a table with a group of people and just like as everybody has to physically get up and move to their new position.
Oh, that's part of it. That's fucking funny.
There's so much shit talking that goes down as you like stand up and you're like just looming over the person who was in first place seat. Like, this is my spot now.
That's hilarious.
You comfy there? You should enjoy it while you're sitting there.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Let's toss out some plugs. What do you got? What are you doing? What's the project you're working on?
So, Jessica Biel is who I'm working with right now. She is an artist in Portland.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she's married to Justin Timberlake.
She's
very hot. She got booty like whoa.
No, not the same person.
Muscular, thick thighs. And she was on Seventh Heaven.
Not the same person.
Oh, different person?
Different person.
Jennifer Beals. So
that's the one.
She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She had that scene where she
stepped in the pool. I know who you're talking about.
With the boobies.
But yeah, Jessica Biel, she's an artist. I'm working on her.
How do you spell Biel, by the way?
Oh, God.
Biel.
Probably.
Okay, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt.
I'll double check that while I'm looking it all up. But Jessica Biel, she's on Instagram. You should look her up. She is an amazing artist. I'm working on her with a project for. She's drawing people who live by themselves as a choice, as a like way of life, and we are doing a project with her to kind of like show that people who do that aren't like weirdos. They're not like outliers.
And you're videoing this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm working on that, and then I will also be doing. Oh man, I should have been more ready for that one.
We'll toss out her Instagram as soon as he pulls it up.
But. Yeah. But also the other one too is I'll be working with a. Hold on.
Hold up.
I had this all set aside, and then I can't find that file. So
that's a whole thing, huh?
Yeah, I was all ready to go. All right, so people who live alone, there is a Facebook site for it. You should look that one up. And then the fight choreographer, I'll find it.
Okay, well, while you're there,
yes, keep talking.
So, if you listen to our first episode of the show with Zach Barkus, he has, and I made him do this, started his own podcast, and him and two other friends, they're on SoundCloud. Did they take it down? Oh my gosh, I hope they didn't take it down.
Oh no.
Well, we're both shitty at plugs.
Yeah, plugs are great.
Yeah.
Hold up.
We're still holding.
No. But hold up.
Northwest Mystery Show, NW Mystery Show on Instagram, NW Mystery Show @gmail.com. You can find it on Facebook. You can join the group. That's a good one. TownseaProductions.com. You can find everything I do. All right. We'll link it.
Yeah, we'll put links down. That'll work.
All right. Sorry, Jessica Biel, who's not married to Justin Timberlake. We'll see you later.
Bye.